So this is what we are showing.
Yes.
Our stores database. So now the other thing that we have to look at is that these columns where we have got
Okay.
name of the attribute, we have to, it has to conform to a particular type. What do I
Okay.
mean? For example, an ID. Values that you expect for an
Okay.
ID are things like 1, 2, 100.
Yes.
While for name, you
Yes.
expect things like maybe boom, bullet, TV.
Yes.
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 On the ID, you cannot expect a word. On the name, you cannot expect
No.
a number. So,
No.
databases are very strict in terms of the type of data that you specify. They are very
Okay.
strict. So when you're creating your table, you need to specify that in this column, I'll only be putting numbers. Or in this column,
Okay.
I'll only be putting positive numbers. For example, when you're making maybe a table, maybe for example, for payments, on the amount,
Okay.
you need to specify that this table should only get positive numbers.
Okay.
So that you even prevent, it also becomes more like a security feature that you add. Because now it will mean that
Okay.
negative numbers will never be accepted in this.
Okay.
Yes. So when you're specifying the types of data that each column will have, if you
Okay.
supply it a data that is different from what it is expecting, it will refuse. Now, let's look at those types of data.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
number one,
Just a minute.
okay,
Just a minute.
we'll list the data types are a lot, but I'll just
Okay.
list a few that I know that I've used that are most
Okay.
common. Number one is the integer.
Integer.
Yes,
Okay.
integer.
Okay.
Yes. So of the integer, the second one is the int. So integer and int
In.
are almost similar. int.
Okay.
Int is also just
Okay.
integer. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's also an integer. And then the next one, okay, the other ones have got like small int, tiny int, big int. So
Okay.
maybe we can say small int. So
Okay.
the int itself can have both small values or large values.
Okay.
But small int will may only specify maybe small values. Maybe you can find that maybe, for example, maybe it may end up to 100. It's only
Okay.
space for small values. Let me give an example. Let me give something in context. So the data type, what the data type tells the computer or the database is how
Okay.
much space to reserve for that
Okay.
values that will be entering. For example,
Okay.
an ID will only contain numbers.
Yes.
Numbers consume less space as compared to names.
Yes.
So when you specify that an ID should be an int or an integer, the
Yes.
the system, you may find that it may reserve maybe something like 8 bits of memory.
Okay.
Yes, just hold on. Okay, so now we continue.
Okay. And the installation is done as well.
Oh, the installation is done. Okay, that's great. That's great.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So it has brought me to a part which is written. It reads the XAMPP control panel.
Is it similar to this one? The one
Yes,
you're
it
seeing?
is.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it is.
That is wonderful. So you can, I think what we need for now So these are the list of services that it comes with. Have you seen?
Oh,
That's why I was
okay.
saying that this
Yes,
one
I've
is
seen.
better than getting just MySQL alone. Because apart from
Oh, okay.
MySQL, you also have these other tools that you can use. So,
Oh, okay.
so now you can just go ahead and start this service called MySQL.
Oh, so I go on MySQL.
Yes, and then you click on start.
Okay, I've clicked.
Okay, that is good. Okay. So we'll come back to that. So let's look at a few more
Oh,
data types. So I was
okay.
explaining that the data types for these columns specifies how much the computer will reserve memory for that type of data. So integers
Okay.
consume less space. So when you're storing numbers,
Okay.
you tell the computer, or when creating the table, you say that can you reserve space only enough for integers?
Okay.
Yes. When you're creating a column with the names, or maybe with a description can
Okay.
even be 5 sentences long. It will not
Okay.
use more space than an int. So for that one, you tell it that
Okay.
can you keep enough space for strings? I don't know how long they'll be. It can be a one word, it can be 5 sentences. Can you reserve space for that string? So
Okay.
for names, you use what we call va, varchar or VARCHAR. So there is char like that. So this one you're saying a character. Let's say, for example, we
Okay.
have got maybe a column, maybe in the users table. We have got a column called gender, and you're only keeping either M or F.
Okay.
M for male, F for gender.
Yes. Female.
Yes, so for that one, we can't put it under int because it's not a number. Again, if you
Okay.
put it
Yes.
under a things like a string, so a string is like a sequence of characters. We can't put it
Yes.
as a string because a string is a sequence of
Okay.
characters because it's just going to
Okay.
be one character. And that's why there's a data type called char or char
Oh,
or character.
okay.
Yes, it is
Okay.
used to store single character values that will
Okay.
not change.
Oh, which is the for single that is the char
Yes, char.
for single characters.
Yes.
Okay.
And then varchar or varchar, it's for variable character. Variable meaning
Okay.
changing. It can be maybe
Okay.
five characters. It can be 20 characters. So that is for varchar. This one here, the second one.
Okay.
It's for variable characters, characters that
So
change.
so
For example,
example you like yes please like
like
on
malumbe,
Vaka. Pardon?
like malumbe.
Malumbe.
Yes, it's an example of a variable character. So where you can put malumbe,
Well,
you can also put male. You can also put
oh
F.
yeah. Oh okay.
So all
Oh,
those
but
have
where
got
it's the
different
char,
levels. Yes.
but on
Uh,
char if it's just a single character.
Just a single character.
Oh okay.
Yes. So if it's
Okay.
M, then it's just one letter.
Just
If
oh
it's
okay.
P, it's one letter. So
Okay.
usually you use it for situations, for columns that you know that you only be having one letter. For example, maybe a gender
Oh,
column where you don't want to keep
yes.
the whole word male or the whole word female, but you just want to keep the letter
Okay.
F or M.
Okay.
Another instance is
Okay.
where maybe you are keeping, maybe for example, in the payments, maybe
Yeah.
we are also keeping a status.
Yes.
Maybe for if it's S, it was success. If it's F, it's the failed. So this will
Yes.
also be a char.
Okay.
You can even maybe have a P for pending. So you who's
Oh,
making the database, you know what these letters mean. You put it
yes.
so that it can use less memory.
Yes.
Because these things there, if you use everything, you can use everything as a VARCHAR. Quite all right.
Okay.
You can say the ID will be a VARCHAR, the name will be a VARCHAR, the category will be VARCHAR, everything will be VARCHAR. But they come to add up once you start having thousands and thousands of records.
Okay.
Mhm.
Also, it's advisable to have VARCHAR and the char as well.
Depending on the type of data you're storing. So when you're
Okay.
developing the database, you plan in
Okay.
advance. What type of data am I going to be keeping in this column? If I've got
Okay.
maybe a column for maybe date of birth,
Okay.
maybe I just want to be keeping the year or the year of birth. You know that the year of
Okay.
birth will always have 4 characters.
Yes.
So you can create a varchar, and then as
Yes.
you create a varchar, you even specify the length of your data type. So I can say varchar like that, and then I do this, and then I say 4. So meaning that this varchar
Okay.
never have more than 4 characters.
Okay.
When
Also,
I
mean you have locked it to 4 characters.
4 characters, yes.
Okay.
For this one, for the char, there's no locking because by default it is just 1 character.
Yes.
Another example, you know that you're going to be, if you don't lock it, then it will take the maximum, which is a very large number.
Okay.
Yes, for example, maybe you want to store maybe a name of a person. You know that the
Yes.
name of a person will never have more than 50 characters. Itakuwa version yako
Yes.
ama letters are 50.
Well, it's not there.
So you can say that, okay, I'm storing names of people. The maximum
Yes.
number of characters should be 50.
Okay.
If someone enters more than 50, it will reject.
Yes.
If you're maybe putting maybe a description,
Okay.
maybe, you know that, okay, maybe a short description, or maybe like a short description.
Yes.
You know that someone maybe
Yes.
writes 2 sentences, 5 sentences. You can say it is a varchar,
Okay.
and then you say 255 characters.
Okay.
So this is only varchar.
Okay.
Yes. So varchar, you can use it for things like name, category,
Okay.
customer,
Okay.
transaction type, reference,
Okay. Okay.
like that. Another type
Okay.
of data that we have is a float. Oh, by the way, these data
Float.
types are not only limited to databases. You'll find them even in other programming languages.
Okay.
Yes. So when you look at the float, this float, it's floating point numbers. So these are numbers
Okay.
that they're numbers, but with the decimal points. So we have got the float and the double. That's what you use. So this one has got double precision. Maybe you have got maybe
Okay.
a number, maybe with the 10 decimal places. You use the
Okay.
double. The
Okay.
float may not give you that big, maybe that 10 decimal places. I'm just giving an
Okay.
example. So the actual scenario may not be that, but I'm just giving an example that the double precision, the double data type is
Okay.
more precise than the float. But the float has got
Okay.
a wider range.
Okay.
Yes. So each one has got advantages and disadvantages. So you can look at
Oh, okay.
the scenarios that you are dealing with to know which one to use. So
So
mostly like,
basically, the float and the double type, you mostly use them on decimal numbers
yes, decimal numbers.
only.
No, like numbers that integers that with decimals.
Oh, okay, so that's why you can apply it.
Yes. There's also another data type called the decimal also.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there's also another data type called the decimal. So these data types are almost similar.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the
Clear.
decimal it has got a fixed point, point. While these others, the float and the double, it is an approximate value.
Or approximate.
So usually when you're dealing with money, you can use a decimal. This one that you can,
Okay.
these other ones you can use maybe calculating the distance between 2 points, height,
Okay.
what, like that. Maybe volume, just things that deal with calculations. And then you expect that
Okay.
they might have maybe some decimal points. You use these.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So data type. So we have looked at the VARCHAR, the char. There's also a text. So in this family of char and VARCHAR, there's also another data type
Okay.
called the text. So
Text.
the VARCHAR ends up to 255. When you want
Okay.
values now that are more than 255 characters, you go with a text. The text will give it
Okay.
the maximum memory.
Okay. There I'm behind.
The text.
Yes.
Let's say, for example, maybe you have got a description. You can have a short description
Okay.
in the long. Maybe, for example, you want to store maybe a passage from a Bible.
Okay.
A passage from a Bible who have more characters than 255. So you find that the VARCHAR will not be able to accommodate that kind of space.
Oh, okay.
So for that one, you use the text. The text has got more characters than a VARCHAR. Can
The voucher,
accommodate.
which has so the text. Hello.
Yes, the text data type.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's a data type.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
called
okay. I'm
text.
now clear. Okay.
Mhm. Yes. So we now go to the last category. So there
Okay.
are a lot, but these are the most common ones. The last category now
Okay.
it is the date. This
Date.
category contains date and time. So
Okay.
this category we've got date, which by its name you know that it's a date. It can be
Yes.
September 1995,
Yes.
7 June 2023. It's a date.
Okay.
And then you also have a date time.
Okay.
Date time. This one has got both date and time.
Okay.
Yes, combined. Mm. And then you also have time stamp. A time stamp, it's how can I say? So a timestamp is a date, but then this one they started counting it from 1970. It's it's a bit tricky. It's like a number that you can convert to a time that started counting
Okay.
from 1970. Every
1970.
second it
Okay.
counts. It's like a time that they
Okay.
created that counts
Okay.
every second. It increases every
Okay.
second. Yes.
Mm,
From
okay.
1970.
Okay.
Yes, that's a timestamp.
Timestamp. Okay.
Yes, a timestamp. I don't know if it's clear on timestamp.
Mm. Not clear as such. We can repeat yourself on timestamp because anyway, I think you can repeat yourself on timestamp.
So a timestamp, it's it's
Okay.
it's a date with time and
Said
second.
so
But
it's a
this,
date with time.
and yes, it's a date with time. But this one, it's
Okay.
different from a date time because it started, it's like it started zero in 1970, and then it has been increasing
Started.
ever since in 1970.
Oh, in 1970, that's when it started counting from
Yes,
zero.
yes,
Oh.
yes.
Mm, oh. Okay, I
So
missed that one. I had missed that one.
yes, like a Unix time stamp is a way to track time as a running total of seconds. This count starts
Okay.
at the Unix epoch on January 1st, 1970.
Hmm. I don't know why we are currently as of now. So me it's still counting.
Yeah,
Ah,
it counts every second.
yeah.
Listen, a timestamp is a
Mm,
sequence of characters encoded information with or encoded information identifying when a certain event occurred, usually
okay.
giving date and time of date, sometimes accurate to a small fraction of a second.
Okay.
Yes. So this one, they're saying that it does not have it is not based on some absolute notion of time. So let me give a
Okay.
perspective on time. This time that we are
Okay.
using, it is a made-up time in that
Okay.
there's people just made up, but no, let's be following this time, be calculating the sun, we'll be doing what. But it's time that even
Yes.
changes. The definition of the time changes as time moves.
Okay.
There's a time when we changed from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar.
Yes.
And with that change, there are places in the world, like you have to, the date in the calendar changed maybe from 1 to 19.
Okay.
Like days were days were missed just by changing from one
Yes.
calendar to another. Yes.
Yes.
But then this timestamp, it has no notion of that. It is just started counting from 1970. Every day, every second, it increases by one.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's like a clock.
Yes.
So, but it's just like a number. So you find that it is like this. Have you seen, Ka? It's a sequence of
Mm,
characters that increases
mm,
every second.
okay.
Yes. So it's a timestamp. So you can use
Okay.
the timestamp. You can use, it's also part of the dates.
Okay.
Yes. The next one is just time. The next one is year. Mhm. So for now, these are the things that we look at.
Okay.
So now we'll go first in our example. We're going to create a
Okay.
table, and then we're also going to create a database and a table. So in here, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
There's this thing called shell.
Which one?
Here, this button
Oh,
called shell.
oh, okay. Yes.
Double click
Okay,
it.
I've seen it. Okay, I have.
Yes, it shows you where we are now. So we
It's
are
more like
in
the command prompt.
command prompt. Yes, we're going to access our what's this? Our MySQL. So
Okay.
in XAMPP, there's a folder called MySQL. So I'll just say cd MySQL. Press enter. I'm in MySQL. So XAMPP, what follows next is MySQL. Here, I'll also say cd. When I do dir, I can see all the files and folders which are in MySQL. The
Okay.
MySQL executable or the MySQL application is found in bin. So I'll say cd bin. And then I'm in bin. When I do a dir here, which is list everything in the directory, it shows me all the applications that are in my directory, and I'm interested in MySQL. So I'll try to run
Okay.
MySQL. I'll say mysql.exe. When I try to run it, have you seen the error it has given me?
Yes, I've seen it.
Yes, it has said the access denied for user. I'm sure even for you, if you
Yes.
do the same, that's what will happen.
Okay.
Have you tried?
No. I was just listening to it. I didn't. So I
Okay.
should start as well.
Yes, you can. You have you opened the command prompt?
Yes, it's open.
Yes, so you can do cd MySQL
CD with no space
with space after
after
cd.
CD.
Yes.
CD my
Yes, yes, yes.
my
Yes.
SQL.
Yeah,
It
and
should
then
be in caps on or
even lowercase, it
or
doesn't matter.
okay. CD my X. Okay. CD my
MySQL.
SQL. Then enter.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Again the same thing.
You now do cd bin space bin
I type CD
space.
bin
Yes, bin.
space
No, 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 no.
CD
Yes, with after cd you put space and then
the
bin.
bin.
Yes.
Then enter.
Yes.
I think for me it's not bringing all that.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me do this.
Okay.
So, is it showing that you're in XAMPP MySQL bin? Like like
Maybe
on like this.
okay.
The way it's showing mine.
When you start,
No, 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 no.
yeah.
On top of the cursor.
Yes, on top of the case you can user at it starts with my name is p/xmp/mysql/bin.
So
Yes.
we are in the same location.
Okay.
Yes, when you do dir, press dir, which is the
dir.
directory listing. When you do that, it
Okay.
shows you all the files that are there.
Okay. Yes, it has.
And one of them is my SQL. I'm sure you can see it.
Okay.
So now we're going to run MySQL. To run MySQL, we run the name mysql.exe or
Okay.
just
So
MySQL itself, just the name MySQL. Just
just
type
my
MySQL.
SQL.
Yes, and then you press.
Okay. Then enter.
Mhm.
Okay. I have.
What does it say?
It has access denied for user.
Mhm.
Yes.
So now we're going to log in using the default user for MySQL. The default
Okay.
username for MySQL is root.
Root.
Yes, ROOT.
Okay.
And the
Double
password
OT.
yes, and the password, there's no password. So we're going to type
Okay.
again MySQL like that. And then we're going to put what we call a flag, like a parameter. We're going to
My
say minus
SQL.
u.
So after MySQL, I say space
And then you say minus u.
minus u.
And then you say root.
No, after minus, should I put space?
After minus u,
Yeah. Or it can just be attached.
minus and u should be together.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and then you say
Then
root.
root.
And then
Okay.
space
Okay.
minus p.
Minus p.
And press enter.
Okay.
So you don't put any password, you just press enter.
Okay.
So what has it said?
Say type help or
Yes, I think
/h for
after the
help.
password.
Yes. After the password.